I'm going to show you how to light a fire here in this area, Northern Ontario, in wet conditions with a ferro rod, some tinder and materials to look out for, a couple of tips about different ferro rods, why they're good, and how to transport a fire. So having practiced it, you're going to be better, more knowledgeable. Sometimes it can be a real challenge. So I'm going to show a couple of tips. Now, every area is also different. We had a heavy driving rain and we have this big, huge white pine here. It's going to have helped block some of that rain from the general vicinity underneath and kept it a little more dry. So that'll help me find some drier tinder in this region here. So what I got behind me here is a cedar, and this is also under that huge white pine. So this area of the trunk here, even though it is a little bit damp, it is much drier than some of the other trees in the area. So what I'm gonna do here to start getting some of my tinder is just gently scraping some of this up here. Cedar's natural water repelling properties, and so that's why it's actually a really good kindling. I don't want to go too deep in because I start getting into much damper material. So what do we do to get this to be a lot more ignitable? One of the things that is really good is to look for sap. All the pine saps are really flammable. So I'm just looking for the tree that I want. One of the things we have in this area is balsam fir. So these balsam firs have these little bubbles. They're full of sap. That's an amazing fire starter, this stuff here. Just puncture that. And soak it into my cedar. Just soak that up. That's a drier sap. This is what'll take the spark, that'll go after, and it flames up really nicely. So right now I'm just looking for some birch bark. Here's a piece. I'm just gonna set this down because I gotta process a little off this tree and I don't want this to get wet. I'm just making myself a platform to get the fire going, and also some of this loose stuff here for the next stage tinder. Normally you shouldn't peel bark off a birch like this because you'll kill it, but this one's already dead. So I'm just lighting a fire here for the purposes of showing you right now. I'm not actually planning on getting a big fire going at the moment. Piece of birch bark here, roll that up, thing like this, which gives you kind of like an ice cream cone. The other thing I have here from earlier is the cattail seeds that I picked. I grabbed them there for later in the event that I needed to use them for something. Just pack them in there. When you get a tight pack, it will smolder slower. And you're gonna be holding this, but just for the time being, let me just get a little stick here just to keep it together. Let's put that aside. So these are two examples of ferro rods. And ferro rods are excellent because I could throw this in the lake, pull it out, strike it a couple of times and be ready to go, whereas the lighter could be compromised, but they are harder to light a fire with. So there's no doubt about that. This one is all you really need, but it's good for a survival kit or something like that. You know, it doesn't throw as many sparks. This guy is much more effective. Naturally, it's bigger. It'll last longer, more strikes, and you can throw more sparks because you have a lot more distance. If you're really in a pinch, you can actually shave some of this off. Two different sizes. Great to have one of these in your survival kit, maybe one of these on your person. It's good to have one on you, and it's really good to have the knowledge. I'm gonna use just the little guy here. So this is my nice little sap-soaked cedar. Look at that. Boom. That's what I'm talking about. And that's the sap for you, you know? And now you can take your time, be patient, and you get the fire going the way you need it to. This works so well. To be honest, I could just grab some sticks from around here. So I'm just doing this because I would like a coal for transporting. One of the things you want to do also is you're so focused on getting the fire going, you hit it with your fire striker and it gets going, and then you put it down and you start loading stuff on and you don't realize it's rolled into the fire. And these things, they don't spark or anything, they just turn red hot and look like a coal and disappear. So you want to make sure once you get it going, take a second, get it out of the way. So now we've got our little fire going, and you know, maybe we're passing through an area. Look, here's all the great things to light a fire. And so you could get it going, and you put a little coal in and you keep it tight packed, and it'll just smolder, and once in a while you blow on it. And now I'll get rid of the ember here so you can see. Every once in a while just check on it. This is gonna smolder for at least an hour. You can make them bigger, you can have several ready to go. If one's getting low, you just drop the ember in the next one and keep going. So all these things work out if you plan it right. It's great to practice this stuff, because if you ever need to do it, you're gonna know what to do and save your butt. Timber! Boom! That's what I'm talking about.